welcome back to PA Truck Up. I'm your host Manny, and today we have Fed. Hi Fed, how are we doing?
Hey, Manny. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It's all good. So, little background: we went to university together. Um, Fed is in Kenya, and she has developed a really nice business for herself, and we're just wanted to talk about it.
I mean, trying to develop a business here, but
I think you're achieving. I think you're achieving.
I
But for
mean,
those listening and that don't know who you are, if you give us an introduction and let us know who you are and what you do. Have you ever wondered how I'm able to run my business, my podcast, and still be able to coach? Well, I use TeamBuildr. TeamBuildr is an all in one coaching software that reduces the amount of time that we spend on the back end of programming, on our Google Sheets, on our Excels, and allows me more freedom to do testing. With this podcast and episodes, I'm actually able to run some programs that I learned through different coaches coming on. To find out how you can use TeamBuildr and how it can apply to your own program, visit the link in the description and catch yourself a 30-day free trial. Just simply use code PACHOCUP, that's PACHALQUP, and start the next stage of your coaching career.
so my name is Fed, and yes, as Manny said, I am based in Kenya, born and raised. No, I don't go to school on an elephant. I never used to. Don't live in a mud hut. Clearly, for a lot of people, that is a common question. I grew up kind of around food. My parents have a pizza place here, and they've had it. We've actually just celebrated 30 years of the opening of our pizza place, so very exciting
And just won
milestone
an
for them.
award.
Yes, we did. And I was the paparazzi for them, so it was perfect. So food's always been in our lives. We've always been a sporty family. So a nutrition is a path I decided to go under and to chase, especially nutrition for athletes, so performance nutrition. And I've always had, ever since I was in Scotland, not only because the weather was what it is, okay, um, but I've always felt like I needed to come back to Kenya for some reason. So, ever since graduation, I moved back here, and I'm also Pilates instructor. So I started teaching with that initially to help me get things going, help me earn a little bit of money, and then build my nutrition name from there. And things have been going a bit slow. I mean, Kenya is one of those places that is still developing in terms of athletes and in terms of what athletes need in order for them to succeed. So, starting here has been a bit a bit difficult. It's been a bit slower than I'd expect. But Kenya is one of those places where you have opportunity. Everyone asks me, they're all like, "How is it being in Kenya?" And I tell them it is beautiful. It has its ups and downs, obviously, like everywhere it does. But from having my family here, being in Scotland, seeing people spend times with their family, weekends with their families, I was like, yeah, no, I kind of miss that. So I kind of want to go home. As hard as it is, this is always my home and it always will be. And I feel like this place has potential and I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. So, so yeah. And the reason I decided to get into nutrition was primarily because I've always been into swimming was my main sport, but I've always been quite sporty. I've just never had the mindset to be able to be an athlete, a competitive athlete. But the idea of the Olympics, everyone likes these little 5 rings. The Olympics to me is like my golden goal. I'm hoping to maybe one day take a team, take an athlete to the Olympics as their nutritionist, and we could cry, laugh, suffer all together here because when I see some athletes now that I work with and I see them compete and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is like anxiety inducing, but it's the kind of rush that you do that at least I like and I can't live without. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's also admirable going back to a country where it will be hard to do what you envision doing. And like in the UK or Scotland, it's quite easy to develop a nutritional business and sort of have
Yeah.
clients, have athletes, have everything else. But you're essentially, and this is what again we've spoke quite a lot about, and it's that
Yeah.
doing the hard routes, but paving the way for like a next generation of people to go through it.
I mean, coming back here after uni, you remember all of our lecturers told us you need to find a mentor, you need to have someone you follow to learn from them, stuff like that. And like when I came here, I was like, mentor, where can I find a mentor? I'm looking for a mentor, but you don't have that here. And what you do have here, the nutritionists you have here, their preparation is not what it is in the UK. And I say the UK because that's all I can relate it to. But I see meal plans made from local nutritionists, and I'm like, wait, are we serious? Is this really what you're giving people? Because this is not a proper meal plan. And it's not like you go to uni and you learn how to make meal plans. You go to uni to be able to enhance your knowledge on nutrition, and then from there have an idea of what people need, how it works, and then do your calculations. But you know, here it's quite shocking to see what professionals actually do. And
Mm,
but underneath these blankets, hidden behind the fog, there is some underlying racism, and it is what it is. I mean, like, you want to give work to locals. And as much as I feel like a local and I have my residency here and I am born and raised here, I don't have, and this is a thing, I don't have the rights that locals have. I'm not a citizen and I don't have the right to be one until I do 7 years of work permit, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of what I'm finding difficult now, because people are not, they don't trust what I can do because I'm an outsider coming in and I'm not a local. And also because, let's be honest, I kind of still look 16. And they're like, really? Are you really who you say you are? So that also kind of makes it a bit harder to start off nice and
mm,
easy. But I am of the idea that starting off easy is never the best way to go.
I would agree. So for those that don't know, what would be the normal path of a Kenyan for like nutrition wise?
So in terms of what they would do to like
Yeah,
undergo, they need to see a
the
nutritionist and stuff like that,
qualifications. Yeah.
or the qualification. So theoretically here, schools are very strict. You have some schools that when you go to high school here, they're very much so, it's kind of like very military like. And they teach you how to just follow rules. That's basically how high
Okay.
schools work here. After that, you then go to uni, you go under the path of, let's say you choose nutrition, you do biology, you then specialize in, okay, I want to go into student nutrition. From there, you then decide what type of nutrition you want to do. So you then specialize in either clinical nutrition or sports nutrition or just general nutrition, then dietetics, stuff like that. But from what I saw from someone I was working with, she was a local nutritionist. They don't. I don't think they focus that much on theory as much as we did. They're more
Mm,
okay. You just go out and get experience in the field. And she was doing clinical nutrition, so she would go out to a hospital and get um, her working hours, her practical hours done. Now we did practicals as well. We did work experience as well, but we also did a lot of that theory. There was a lot of focus on us understanding the basic principles of nutrition.
mm,
And obviously you always kind of have to stay on top of things. As when we came out of uni, we came out being researchers, right? Because we need to research things to then be able to stay up to date with everything going on, because research keeps on changing. But here the standards are just, they're, let's say, they're not as prepared. They're not as, there is no standard here. In the UK you have like an association
bodies
that
and
get
governing.
into,
Yeah.
exactly, have bodies that you then refer back to, you get information from. Here it's kind of like, okay, I quite like that, let's try that today. If that doesn't work, let's try something else tomorrow. So it's very much
Mm,
so relaxed in
experimental.
that sense. Yeah, very much so.
And obviously, we should mention that although we were at the same university and same program, I didn't do any of the nutritionist stuff. So I'm not quite sure exactly how your years were taken up with modules and classes. What was your experience with that?
So what I really enjoyed about this course, because people ask me this all the time, why did you go to Scotland? From Kenya to Scotland, what? And I was like, yeah, I still don't have an answer to that. But I can tell you that the course in itself kind of struck to it called me because it was half theoretical, half practical. So I'm not a major books person. I quite like to have some practicals in there, some movement, not always on the books, stuff like that. And that's what I enjoyed about our course because we did a lot of clinical nutrition, food nutrition, but we also did a lot of sports modules. So our first
Mm,
2 years were mainly focused on what the clinical or the, let's say, the food scientist guys were studying. So that was the hormones and how foods work and labs and stuff like that. Whereas the second 2 years were more focused on sports. So the practicals and how, let's say, sports affects our bodies and our physiology, our anatomy. And then we had some courses that would tie the two things together. So it would put the nutrition and the sports together and the anatomy, physiology together. And for my joy and love and excitement, that was with my absolute favorite lecturer. So I won't name names here, but it was one of the lectures that was probably the toughest, the most strict when it came to grades, the one that every single full stop had to be perfect. So it was just one of
did I
those.
have the same lecturer?
I think you had it at some point. Yeah. I think we all had him at some point, and then he kind of just disappeared in the last year, and people were
Also
left.
Portuguese?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just,
I know who you're talking about.
yeah, there you go. There you go. So there's no need to even explain that. Even
I've
some
got some
lectures.
information for you afterwards.
Oh God, there you go. Hot goss, even in Kenya.
um, but yeah, see, he or she gave me the harshest grades I have ever gotten at university, and we were okay students, and yeah,
Yeah, we were okay students, yet he was the
he
worst
was
on us.
brutal,
He was the worst on us. He was like, maybe
or
he saw
she.
potential. Or he or she, sorry. them, them or they.
But like, I do think that it goes back to that thing where this expectation of like theory and practical comes in, and we've always been in a position that although the theory is important and we need to know it, but we are much more practical in the sense of we like to do.
Yeah,
Um, Again, throughout uni, I know you were working full time pretty much. I was working full time pretty much, and we always kept up with everything that
yeah,
the industry was doing it on a personal level. And I think that's why me and you connected quite a lot because
yeah.
not just the theory was important and we did okay at it, but like we also knew that the
We had to
theory
put
is
it into play.
also, yeah.
But what I also admired about you, and it's because I was going through the same thing, because you were doing your sports massage course, right?
Mm,
And so that was deepening your knowledge on anatomy and physiology out of uni, which was,
mm,
it's not something you take for granted because you're like, I still need to study this. Even though I've gone through it, I've touched upon it, I'm still going to study it. And I was doing the same with my Pilates course because I was currently undergoing my Pilates course and my exam.
mm,
And there I had to then also study anatomy and physiology to then sit the theory exams and then the practical exams. So, there was a lot of that common grounds that we had, which was uni, yes, number one. Then you had your work just to be able to support yourself throughout uni, do something on top of what you were doing. And then you had that extra courses that you then decided to do.
mm.
And
I I always
I,
think it's about expanding. Like I don't
exactly,
think I know people like to see our fields as separate. Like nutrition is one thing, physiology is another thing, biomechanics is another thing, S&C is another thing, but they're all the same. Like it's all
they're all
one
the same.
thing. And the more industries that we sort of tap into or gain knowledge and information about, the better we will become as practitioners.
Yeah. And I think the more we help each other as well, because
Mm,
when, as you said, we're not separate. We all need to be able to work together. If we're going to make the perfect team, the perfect athlete, perfect, I say, because there's no perfect, but you need to be able to have the mental health coach. You need to be able to have the strength and conditioning coach. You need to be able to have the kinesio guy or the nutritionist or whatever it is, because you all need to, the physio, you all need to work together to be able to then, you know, make something whole. And right now, so after a year of being here, I started off working in a gym, and you know, it's that basic first job after uni. You start off in a gym teaching Pilates, and then they also realized that, oh, you're a nutritionist. Can you come on as our nutritionist? I was like, absolutely yes. So it was great exposure. People got to know me. Obviously, first jobs are never the best. You don't get paid enough. People don't respect you as much. Okay. But it's still experience. And it's something that you need to do to be able to understand what your worth is, I think.
Mm,
But then that allowed me to make connections. It allowed me to create my little Pilates family. And it also allowed me to meet a few people that are in the field of physiotherapy, chiropractors, nutritionists, dietologists. Oh, sorry, dietitians. People are going to shun me for that word. Dietitians. You have pelvic floor specialists. You have people working with people with cancer, and they're getting that. It's not so much. It's that help to get through cancer, to ensure that they're doing exercises,
mm,
to help with scar therapy as well, to get rid of scars and stuff. So it allowed me to meet a lot more people, which then gave me a chance to start working in this new clinic that I'm working in. And it's a clinic, so I watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is like my go-to series. And there's a series related to it that basically has this clinic where a bunch of different practitioners work in all different specialities, and they complement each other's work. And that's basically the type of clinic that we have here. So
mm,
we all have different specialities, but we all work together to be able to, you know, support each other. If we need to do referrals, we know each other, so we give it to one another. And it's a safe space. It's a safe space to grow your own name, basically.
nice. I
And
think
go for it.
the best facilities are ones that collaborate with each other.
Yeah. Because, you know, they all tell me, Fed, I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest in there. And they're all like, we all started where you are. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you, guys. Because, you know, they're like, yeah, I'm seeing 40 people this month. And I'm like, I got one. I got one. I got one. So it's just a matter of that support and the not giving up, you know, because it's so
Yeah,
easy to say, I'm just going to move to another country and try again. You need to give things time. And
yeah.
the amount of times people have told me, Fed, what are you doing in Kenya? You're wasting your time here. You're never going to find anyone, which I'm like, rude, but okay. And you're just wasting your time here because there's no job opportunities here. And I was like, okay, I just want to see how it goes. If something clicks in me, something will click. If not, I just want to see how it goes.
Mm. This is something that we have also spoke about, and you have brought this up to me, and I'll say it again because it's stuff that I have to remind myself of. It's like we're in, well, you're definitely in a country that's not widely available, nor is it known as much what it is.
Mm,
So you'd essentially having to create that path for yourself. And then anyone that sort of has the same experience or wants to get into the same realm, you then, like what we were told, find this mentor. They would be able to find you and find your path and see how you manage to achieve this. It's it's always easier to choose the easiest path. Like you
yeah,
always like we always see on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, like the two kiosks, and one's like really simple stuff and like the harder way, but like everyone's on the easier stuff, no one's at the harder.
yeah,
It's I feel like yes, it's a struggle, yes, it's hard, but how much more rewarding does it feel when you finally get like three, four, five clients that are sticking to your plan, are doing everything, and they're seeing results, and
exactly.
they're competing and they feel the difference and they approach and be like, hey, all the work that we've been doing, it's making a difference. I feel it.
Yeah,
Like I in the UK, S&C is a thing, but it's not the same as what it was when I experienced it in the US. So for me, it's like I want to create that type of atmosphere, that
yeah,
type of environment here when culturally it's completely different.
Hmm.
So it's trying to build that base for myself where, okay, I'm here, people know me for my work. Let's chip away at it so that in a couple of years I can have this business where it's known for creating these types of athletes, these types of performances.
Exactly. I mean, we're still at the age where we can, at least I speak for myself a lot because my parents are super supportive with everything that I choose to do. We're at the age of experiencing things and gaining that knowledge, gaining that experience. Um, and on this note, I decided this year, I was like, Fed, stop your shit, get your ass up and do something with yourself this year. Become that bitch. So, not just letting the year go by. Because again, as you said, it's easy to just let the year go by. It's harder to say to have mini goals, to have mini
Mm,
milestones. And I was like, okay, I've been wanting to go to South Africa for a while. And I know it's expensive and I know my salary is not the best, but no risk, no reward. So let's
mm,
just do it. My aunt is there. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to find a house. I can stay with her. Easy stuff. Let's just go test the waters. So I went to South Africa for 20 days in April. And honestly, it was the most incredible experience because when it comes to performance, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to athletes and sports, they're like, Kenya's here, South Africa's like, ooh, all the way up here. And it's encouraging to see that even though it's a country in Africa, there is so much more development. And that's kind of what I want to bring
mm,
to Kenya. And that's why I went. I was like, I want to go see what it's like there, what they're doing there, and why they're so much more advanced there than they are here. Obviously, it's a whole government thing, it's a mindset thing. Okay,
mm,
I can be better and I can bring a little bit of that betterness to the clients that I do have. And um it was encouraging. It was good to see. Now that I think ever since getting back, I was like, you know what? I appreciate that. I was glad I went. I feel like it's helped me with my aunt. We She works a lot with golfers. Mm, let's talk about golf, man. Speaking about golf, it's in my destiny. I need to start learning how to play golf.
we'll get to the golf in a second.
So there was a lot of potential there as well, and yeah, I just feel like it was a really positive experience.
What are some things that you're trying to get now implemented with your practices? Haven't seen it in South Africa.
Definitely the way you go about things and the way that in South Africa things have logic. They have a sense of, okay, this works. It's not just come see me, I'll give you 2 weeks of meal plan and then bye. You
Mm,
have that structure. You have the structure and you're working with a few different people. As we said before, you work with a team. But also the fact that you have specific and good products that help you. Now, a lot of people right now are on that creatine, they're on that protein powder, they're on all of that stuff. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. Just know what you're putting in your body because anything you
mm,
put in your body then affects you later on in life. Maybe not right now, but as you age, things then will start to make sure they come out. So just be mindful about that. Um, but the fact that out in South Africa, they would be outdoors just all the time. Whenever the weather was good, they'd be either playing golf or running or playing paddle. Any sort of sports at any time of day, any sort of, they prioritized physical activity. They didn't
mm,
prioritize I'm going to say this, but this was the group of people that I saw. They didn't prioritize the partying as much, and maybe they
mm.
did, but it was more balanced. So, just a matter of being more aware of health and how then that can affect you later on in life, and especially for athletes, how that can affect your performance.
Yeah. Did we have the same physiology lecturer?
We might have had, we might have even been in the
John.
same. No,
Yeah.
no, then no,
No.
because I didn't have John. He was pretty
Okay.
cool. I didn't get him.
Yeah. So he was sick, and I still to this day think of our classes, and he knew my interest for S&C, and he hates S&C.
Mm.
So anytime that he would like come up with like an argument for why S&C doesn't work, he would look at me dead in the eyes and just like say it, and then I would also fight back. But one of the most interesting things that he said, and it's still stuck to me just now, is you can have all the supplements that you want, but if you don't know what your body needs, you're just
Yeah,
going to pee it out. So then
exactly.
it becomes a more of an expensive pee than
Yeah,
anything else.
exactly. And it is exactly that. I mean, like, I was with my cousin who is a pro golfer, and he was like, we were chatting about how his, he went to this doctor, which is, he's a holistic doctor. He doesn't just focus on the meds, he goes more on the natural path. And he was like, Philip, we've done some blood tests, and from this, you need to, what you're allergic to and what your body reacts to a little bit more, you need to find a balance a bit better to then be able to enhance your golf performance. And when he started implementing these things and started taking a few of the supplements, the vitamins that this doctor
Mhm.
gave him, he started to see differences in his golf game and just feel different as well.
Mm.
Because you might not see your performance measures differ, but you might feel better, and that then makes your mindset better, which then makes your game better automatically.
Yeah, and again, I'm not against supplements, but it's again, it's a supplement. It's something that your body isn't producing naturally or
Yeah.
able to, so you have to supplement something in there to make sure that you're getting enough of that one thing or multiple things.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when people turn to supplements, they never think about, it's like a pyramid. The last thing you really
Mm.
need is that supplement. It's an upside down pyramid. So the biggest thing that you need is just food intake, is
Your
the proper food
nutrition,
intake,
yeah.
your nutrition. And then that then goes. The last thing is your supplements, because it's just a thing, as you said, to supplement, to help you. It's not so much a thing that is the first thing that you go to or the first thing you reach for in the cupboard every time. Instead of, they're like, I'd rather take protein powder than eat some chicken. I get that 10 in the morning chicken is not the best, but you know what? I would rather you have a piece of chicken than, just fully just have
Mm.
powders all the time.
Chicken omelet.
Chicken omelet, chicken omelet. Bro. Add in some salmon as well. You can never go wrong.
Yeah,
Surf and
that's
turf
nice.
omelet,
Smoked salmon.
smoked salmon. Gosh, how can you say
Um,
no to that at 10 in the morning?
so
Or even midnight snack. How can you say no?
easily.
I say,
um,
how can you say no? But it's definitely not something I would do.
um, one thing that you kind of mentioned, and it's something that I've also experienced, and I think a lot of people coming out of university, and you know, people are usually very green as to workspaces, but it's that thing where people or employees tend to not value you until you're gone, and they're like,
Yeah,
oh shit, I fucked up," and
yeah,
it's again, it always sucks to see, but those are more likely the jobs that newer people can get in the
yeah.
fields. So it's one of those that although it sucks, but you kind of have to then from there know your value and worth.
Oh, for sure. I'm still learning that. And I think you never stop learning that because you're always kind of put back in your place. When you get
Mm,
too confident, you're always going to find someone better. And the way I see it, the way my dad has always taught me was that you can always learn from someone. Yeah.
mm,
So when I started the job at the gym, it was all happy days at the start. People were like, new nutritionist. Oh my goodness, amazing. They would trust you. But then as time goes on, that's when you really start to see the true colors of who you work with and who your bosses are.
mm,
And that's when I started to, you know, doubt myself because my bosses were not giving me the space to grow. My tipping point, the reason I left the gym was because they were making nutrition decisions without consulting me. And if I'm to be your nutritionist, then everything has to go through me. It doesn't matter if I'm green, people don't know that. I know that. And
mm,
I'm already fighting my own battles at home saying, "Oh my god, I'm green, I can't do this." But it's it's then me telling myself, "No, you can." But you also need to have that people around you that are able to give you the space to show you that you know that.
mm.
And
Yeah.
when I left the gym, um, I had my boss tell me, "Yeah, but why are you going? I mean, are you sure you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure I want to go." And it was when you leave work that you have every month you have income coming in. You're like,
Mm,
shit, like I'm not getting that income. But what's worse, losing that monthly income or just not growing? And I wasn't growing. And I'd rather take the risk of leaving a job but opening up a new door than staying in a job which then makes me hate what I do. And I don't
mm,
hate what I do. I love what I do. So, as tiring as it can get, as frustrating as it can get, because nutrition is slow and you don't see the massive progresses that you'd like to see as soon. But you need to know your worth. You need to be able to say, I studied this. I know what I'm doing. I not only have I studied it, but I've been putting it into play for 2 years now. And it's not like whenever I don't know something, I just wing it. I go do my research. And on top of that, I'm registered with the AFN Association, which is the Association for Nutritionists. Huh, weird, right? It's a weird little. And they send you newsletters every time. They have webinars, they have seminars, they give you chances to build your CPD. So it's that ability to then show that you are practicing what you're doing and doing more on top of what your job actually is, which is
Yeah,
reassuring
CPD is
because
important.
yeah, it is. It's something I'm still like understanding because and it's something that you need to keep on remembering to do and to note down because in at least with me at the clinic, there's so much of it because of how many we are. And we tend to share a lot of information with each other. Um, but yeah, what the head of the clinic told me, he's the main physiotherapist. He was like, Fed, just give it time because you need to give things time. People need to get to know you because it's you go to a spa and you get a good masseuse. Yeah. You go back and you get a nasty one. You're like, no, I want that person again. So you need to build your name. Yeah. So you always
Mm,
go back to something familiar to you, something that you trust, something that is right for you. And I'm not going to be right for everyone. People might not like the way that I do my nutrition. Nutritionists are all very different. But you need to give things time because then you find your people that are willing to give you the trust and the attention, the everything that you need as a professional to then bloom a little bit more and
mm.
glow a little bit more.
How are you applying and getting sort of athletes into right nutritional plans? And how are you building that out in Kenya?
So when it comes to athletes here, I have a good mix of, I would say it's more regular people that come to me for now compared to athletes. I have this runner who's very dedicated, bless him. He's wonderful. So he always like orders, I'll tell you more about my energy balls, but he's a long distance, he's an 800 meter, 1500-meter runner and he differently from everyone else, he's dedicated. He knows that nutrition can affect his performance. So he's aware of this. His education behind how food intake can affect your performance is up there. I worked with local volleyball players on a volleyball team, and they were the opposite. They were the complete opposite. In Kenya, the priority is to eat and survive because you don't have that security. There's no safety. It's a poor country. And these volleyball players, they come from the villages, they come from the streets. So for them, when I asked them what their nutrition looks like, they were like, oh, I haven't even eaten today. But being young, it's fine because your body can come back, bounce back from anything. Whereas when you get older, you start to feel the pains and the aches. You start to feel
Mm,
what's not right. And these guys would just, the Kenyan diet is very much so carbs. It's high in carbs, and that's why the runners do so well. And culturally, I'm okay with that. Genetically, that's what they need. What they don't need is to just not have anything in their system. Or whatever they do get, maybe someone gives them money to buy food, they then give to their family because their families don't have enough money. So what I'm struggling to do now is two things. When it comes to locals, like the volleyball team, is to help them understand why nutrition is important and why they need to eat. When it comes to the guys that are a bit more up there, they've done competitions. Like, for example, I know a guy that's gone to the Paralympics, he won a silver medal for long jump. Amazing. But for them, it's, yeah, but I've won. So why do I need to,
mm.
undergo strength and conditioning, physiotherapy, nutrition? Why do I need that? Because I've already won a medal. Like, I can do it again. If I've done it once, I can do it again. And if I did it once without doing all of this, why do I need to do it again? Or why do I need to do this to be able to win again? So the mindset is very different. The mindset is very much so still processing the importance of nutrition.
Mm.
That's what I'm currently fighting with because they don't see the need to be able to pay someone to come and teach people how to eat. They're like, we could pay for a nicer hotel or we could pay for something else, a better training facility. We don't need to pay someone to tell us how to eat. We're fine.
Yeah. What's some steps that you're trying to implement to sort of better this educational system for the general population and athletes?
It's baby steps. That's all I can say is changing someone's way of viewing, and then they will then tell someone they know, and they'll change, and then that person will change, and it's going to be that.
Mm.
I tried to get into sports teams directly, and I couldn't, and I'm still trying, but it's a lot harder. But if you, with my colleague, my physiotherapist colleague, if you just take them one by one and you change how they view things and then word of mouth, that's kind of the approach I'm currently taking.
Yeah.
Giving things the time they need, but ensuring that something is moving, and with time some more awareness will be around.
Yeah. And you kind of mentioned it before, but your balls.
My
Um
pops, my
yeah,
power.
your pops. So we're joking because at the start I'll let you tell them.
So basically, I started this product because here in Kenya, it's not like you have as many products as you might in the UK or in Europe in general when it comes to healthy eating. So, you go to the supermarket and you're looking for a healthy snack and you're like, ooh, but this has a shit ton of ingredients. Yes, I'm the kind of person that reads all the ingredients at the back. So I was like, okay, let's try and make something. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Easy. And I started by getting into the CrossFit community because I used to coach CrossFit. So, um,
Boo.
boo, boo. Manny's so against CrossFit. No, but it allowed me to be able to expand. So last year at the CrossFit Open that we held at the gym, I started selling these little guys and I started marketing them as Power Pops, yes. But the fact that I was like, come try some of my balls, that's kind of what stuck. So now they're considered Feds Power Pops or Feds Balls. So I go around saying, do you guys want some of Fed's balls? Do you guys want to buy some of Fed's balls? My Power Pop, my balls are fantastic. So you can never go wrong with some balls. So that is kind of why we're laughing because
Yeah. In all fairness, you were nice enough to send me a box, well, a little tub, and they were really good. And I tend to not like chocolate orange,
there
but
you go.
that was actually really nice. It was nice.
So I have 5 flavors, and I tried to make these flavors in a way that would kind of make everyone a bit happy. You have the chocolate lovers, so the double chocolates. You have the citrus lovers, so the lemon and the orange. Then you have the coconut lovers, which is the bounty flavor, happy days. Um, but they're a fantastic way of, like, at least for me, if you're looking at an athlete's point of view, pre-training or pre-comp, during the comp, and post comp or post training, you can use them anytime, which is what is like amazing. I gave them to some runners, and this athlete that I work with, his name is Nick. He said, Fed, I usually get very sick if I eat something before my run, and these have resolved me. So they've solved my issues. They've actually made me feel so great during my runs. I go longer. I'm not tired. So it's a mini win. It makes me happy. And the idea with these bowls is to put them in places that you wouldn't typically find them in. So right now I'm trying to get them with athletes, trying to find a way to take them over to South Africa because I have my cousin, my golfer cousin, that wants some. Um, I'm trying to get them in safari lodges because you go on safari, you need a little
Mm.
sweet snack, but you don't want to just go on the cakes and sweet treats, but you want to go on the healthy side of things. These are great. It's hot out there, full of sugar because you have the dates, but they're all healthy, natural sugars. So, and another major thing is here, the products that you do find never taste like what they say they taste like. And that for me is a big
Mm.
no no. I'm like, you don't say it's salted caramel if it's not. So stop your shit. And you don't say it's orange chocolate if it's really not, so stop it. So that's also a main thing of mine. I try keep it as simple when it comes to ingredients, but try
Mm.
and make sure that it tastes like what it says it tastes like.
Yeah.
And
So are they more like flavorings that they're adding as opposed to like the natural ingredients?
so I keep them as healthy as possible in the sense that dates and cashews being the base. And then to be able to give them the flavors, I use natural products, lemon zest, orange zest, no added sort of flavoring whatsoever.
Mm.
Out of these 5 flavors, these are the 5 standard flavors. I add limited edition flavors to spice things up a little bit. So I use spices and I use herbs to just make things not only tastier, because yes, taste is fundamental, but also healthier for you because the combination is also what matters. I don't just put a bunch of shit together, make sure it tastes good. I want to make sure that the combination of ingredients is actually benefiting you
Mm.
instead of like maybe spiking your blood sugars too much or not like one thing cancels the other thing out. So that's kind of why.
You're essentially looking through the natural path of these systems. So like if it's a day or a herb, you're sort of looking at not only that but like what your body needs and how it travels to those places. Am I right?
Yeah, and how it can
Yeah.
then affect your, in terms of athletes, because that's kind of why I made these, how it can affect your performance and how it can benefit your overall health. Because we all know that when you take medication and you take medication with other things or with the food that you eat, sometimes things cancel out. Simplest one being your vitamin C and your iron, which help each other, whereas calcium and iron fight against each other. So it's one of those things. It's like, how does this combination of ingredients benefit the absorption of these products and the effects that they then have on our bodies? That's why, it's something that I like to take care of. I'm not just going to give it away for someone to make. Here, go make these things for me. My life has now become, this looks like an apron. Yes, because I'm always in the freaking kitchen making balls. Okay. Rolling fucking
um
balls. That's my life.
how long does it take you to sort of make them?
So I've gotten really, I won't say fast because, I like to make sure that everything is nicely precise. But it takes me a good afternoon to be able to make a good bunch. Yesterday, I have a big order coming up, like massive order. So I have a safari company that has ordered 80 little packets
Mm.
for June. And I had another order just last night, another safari company ordering 20. So yesterday afternoon, I was in the kitchen prepping the 80 order, and it took me a good few hours to get, I would say, 16 packets done. two
Mm.
to 3 hours, just because you're there blending, and then you make sure that you weigh everything out, and then you roll them up. You blend, you mix everything up, you weigh them out, you roll them up. So it's just a bit of a process, and then you package, you put the stickers. Also, because I kind of worked on the graphic designs, my stickers are also my children because I like colors. I like to get creative. So it's a good way for me to then express my creativity as well.
Yeah, and although it's just in Kenya and you're trying to get it out to South Africa, what's that process sort of been like for you?
So in Kenya itself, in order to be able to sell to other like places, you need to be certified. You need to have your product tested by a government body. And in Kenya, it's called KEBS, which it's the most annoying thing that you can go through. It's a very tedious process, but once you have KEBS, and it's this little sticker that you put onto your product, it allows you to demonstrate to people that you have had your product tested, it's been tried. Every where you make the product is a clean space, and having my parents shop has helped me massively. So having that already is a step forward because that then allows me to show people, look, this has been tested from the government itself, and happy days, it's cleared. Now, in order to get it to another country, that's a bit more difficult because the standards of, let's say, this process that I did here is a bit more intricate in other countries because things are a bit more developed in other countries. So they might need to go through a few more processes. Like, yes, my products are gluten free and lactose free. But for example, here in Kenya, they don't really give you a certificate for that. You don't really have labs to do that and to test for that and to give you the certificate. that's the next thing that I'm looking for, because when I was in South Africa, they told me, yeah, you need a certificate to be able to show me that it's gluten free and lactose free. And I was like, okay, so that's my next thing that I need to get. Whereas maybe if I were to produce these in South Africa, then that would be different, because they would, it might be a bit longer because the tests are a bit more,
Mm,
but in that way, they would give you a complete package of, these are all your certificates to show proof that your products are what they say they are.
yeah. And what's sort of the hardest lessons that you've had to learn and overcome from this whole process?
Oh, not only so, the issue with producing things here is that you never find the same thing twice. So let's say my supplier might not have dates at one point, and that leaves me in this shit, because I'm like, are you joking? This is what my product is based off of, and I can't just tell people, sorry guys, I can't keep producing because my supplier doesn't have dates anymore. Consistency, it's that consistency with the products that I struggle with. And I've also struggled a lot with trying to not market my product, because I'm slowly starting to get somewhere. But I would say telling people that, there's this misconception that healthy sugars are bad for you.
Mm,
Yeah, but it's still sugars. And I'm like, you tell me this, and then you go out and you get a milkshake and it's full of sugars, and you're fine with that, but you're not okay with eating dates. So again, it's just trying to change people's understanding of what is, actually good for you and what's not.
yeah. And I think again that's it's hard to tell people that in general because
Yeah.
we do like fast and easy, and I mean especially athletes. Athletes just like athletes are the best cheaters. They will
Yeah.
find the process and cheat every chance they have. But it's
Because being
like
an athlete
even
is hard, right?
mhm, yeah,
Being
like
an athlete, it's not an easy job being an athlete.
I'm trying to like so when I was in the States, like we had two different kitchens. We had nutritionists everywhere and like everything was sort of made for the athletes.
Yeah.
But you would still so our the first session was at 7 a.m. You would still get athletes being like, no, I've not ate or no, I didn't drink any water. And I'm just
Yeah.
like it's a good thing that they came in like 15 minutes before because I could tell them go to the kitchen, get something right now.
Yeah.
But it's like it's still that thing where, and I understand that some people might just not be able to handle food in the morning or before a session, but like you do need this fuel. You do need something in your stomach to carry you
Yeah.
through this performance.
But you know why? I feel like it's because nutrition is something that you constantly have to think about. Like, it's not something that you're like, okay, when you go, for example, for training, if you can just like someone is there to do it for you, you have a coach that's there to tell you what to do. Yeah, you just need to perform, which is also hard. But when it comes to nutrition, you actively have to think about, what am I putting in my body and how is that making me feel? Is that
Mm,
how is that affecting my performance? And that's where it comes in hard, because then you have a lot of, nowadays, more than like now more than ever, with social media and with all this nonsense going around, with all this fast food going around, we don't know what, healthy eating actually means anymore. And it doesn't have to mean that healthy eating is bland and nasty. No. Try to tell all
chicken
my
and
clients,
rice.
chicken and rice, chicken and rice. And I'm like, how do you even shit if you eat chicken and rice all the time? I don't understand. But eating how our grandparents used to eat, or how their parents used to eat, whole foods, farm foods, fresh foods, things that will then, help your body. We turn to food as a way of like escaping, whereas food just needs to be fuel. Food needs to
Mm,
help us keep going. How's your skin doing? How are your nails doing? How's your hair growing? How are you feeling throughout the day? Are you having dips in energy? And obviously you will. Like, it's just natural, but the extremes are what worry me.
yeah, I was gonna
So
say my hair's not growing very well.
mine's just no, okay. Manny, well, it's okay. We'll take you to Turkey to have like hair implants. That's
I
completely okay.
refuse. I've just embraced the baldness. Um, no, but I do get what you're saying, and it's having these little checkpoints. And as much as we say it's fuel, I think we lack this ability to paint a picture as to why that's important. And it's
Yeah.
like if if people were driving a car, you wouldn't just put any type of fuel in your car, or you just wouldn't put fuel in because you're not
Yeah.
going anywhere without it. So it's like it's also like part of this educational is trying to make them understand. Okay, if I put cooking oil in my car, a lot's going to go wrong.
Yeah. Bye. Boom.
Yeah.
Bye.
If I don't put fuel, I'm just not going anywhere. So why don't we just invest in the right fuel to then make sure that we're getting where we need to go? And it's not just that; like it helps with recovery. Again,
Yeah.
the two most important things in a performance stance is recovery, nutrition. One, two. Like without both of them, your performance will dip, and you will not become as successful as you could be. Even if
Yeah.
like that's like just national level, like you can still be more successful by properly doing those two things.
Yeah. And I think your point goes back to the fact that people just want fast, quick answers. You know, it's like, I just want an easy fix. And that's basically what our life has become. You know, I want to get
Mm,
famous, TikTok. I want to get known. You know, I'm trying to build my website here, and it's not an easy process. And, you know, people are like, oh, Fed, but you don't have that many followers on Instagram. I'm like, just buy some. And I'm like, that's not the point in you know, in all of this. The point is to actually make a difference, and is to have real people follow what you
mm,
do. The number of followers that I have doesn't really matter to me, but because I don't care how many people follow me, actually, I'm actually a little shy, so that doesn't help me as much. But if I get enough real followers, that then means that they're actually interested in learning something
mm,
and in learning what I'm trying to teach them. And that could either be nutrition or Pilates, because even with my Pilates classes, the aim is to try make people more aware of what Pilates does to your body. I'm not here to make you just come for 45 minutes to have fun with me. No. I have fun because I love teaching, but I want you to feel what I'm feeling because I know what I'm supposed to feel. I want you to feel what you're supposed to be feeling and what I'm
yeah.
trying to make you feel,
Having that connection with your body.
that mind to body connection and that understanding of your body. Because people come to me, they're like, I went to this and I feel broken or I hurt myself. And I'm like, okay, let's try fix it and let's try avoid that happening next time around. An injury is inevitable. I went to the chiropractor today and I'm a dead woman. I feel broken. He's cracked me up. He was like, Fed. And I was like, don't. Because you cracked my pelvis in a way that should not feel normal ever. So, yes, don't even lecture me because I know. But your body is a temple and you really need to be able to take care of it. And that does mean going to a good professional chiropractor, going to see going outdoors to do some exercises. If you're unsure, go to nutritionist. Don't go to ChatGPT. Don't go to TikTok. Don't just follow nonsense. But
Mm,
then again, I say this with caution because you need to be careful who you go to. You need to go to people that are real and that love what they do and that are good
mm,
at what they do. Because if you go to someone that claims to be a nutritionist or a chiropractor or a physio and they break you because they have the ability to break you, then that to me pisses me off because I'm
mm,
like, don't call yourself a nutritionist because you're not helping someone. You're breaking
yeah.
someone.
So,
You have
and
someone's
I think, yeah. Sorry, keep going.
no, I mean like you have the ability to heal or break. And when people don't
Mhm.
know what they're doing, that annoys me, the fact that they can easily just ruin someone's life.
Yeah, and think it also has that negative effect on the industry and how that person then perceives that industry from now on. And
Exactly.
I've mentioned this to you, and I'm very open about this, but like I tend to stay away from supplement companies and people that are just trying to push products because I don't really care. Like if you
Yeah.
want to speak to me about what you have, sick, but I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to try and poke holes in it because
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't.
If you
Like
didn't.
yeah, and again, this is why I'm really happy for you and why you're doing things. I know how anal you are about what's going into everything. I know you, I know your research, and I know how deep you go into things. So for me, it's like, okay, I know I can take these because it's got everything that it says on it. I don't have to
Yeah.
worry about you cooking in a pot that has been tainted with other supplements or other bullshit that I don't want in my
Absolutely.
food.
Yeah.
So it's
And that's the thing. That's the main thing here. I have celiacs coming to me and they're like, Fed, I don't know what it is, but my symptoms just keep flaring up. And I'm like, yeah, it's called cross contamination. Welcome to Kenya, which is scary, but
yeah.
it's real.
So that's like even in podcasts, sometimes people mention supplement companies. I have to go and bleep it out because I don't. And again, I know it's more work for me, but I would rather advertise the correct companies that are doing the real good work,
Yeah.
than companies just because they're cheaper or just because they're more
Yeah.
convenient. Um,
Exactly.
again, and I mean we've spoken on the lobby and offline as well, and just I'm trying to get you to go worldwide here.
One day, one day soon. It's
No,
in
it's
the. It's all part of the plan, Manny.
the 10-year plan.
10-year plan.
But no, it's again, it's just having, and I like my job because I get to speak to people like you often, and it's real professionals going deep on what they like and what they are very interested and passionate about, and it's sort of sharing that information with people.
Yeah.
And again, nutrition is a big topic and one that there's no right or wrong answer
Exactly.
because everyone's so different. So like, and again, I like it's you and Ali. I will shout both of your names from the rooftops because again, I've seen both of you's work, and it's a thing you're aware. And this is also another thing when you're in general population um, environments, you get to deal with real people, and
Mm.
you early on get to know that okay, I can't just recommend chicken to everyone because
Hmm.
chicken might not be for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really getting to know the person, really getting to know all the details about them and what they can and can't handle, and then
Yeah.
specifying a program for them.
See, if there's one thing that like I want this podcast to just be able to shine is the fact that the word diet, everyone
Mm,
hates it. Everyone uses it in such a bad way. I'm going on a diet. Uh-uh. No. You need to find your diet. I diet is probably one of my favorite words because you need to find your way of eating. You need to find your formula, your diet. Yeah. You can't go on a general diet. You need to find your thing. And it's something that everyone is so lost about,
mm,
that behavior change. So, trying to redirect people into finding what makes foods that make them feel good, that's what we're looking for, that balance as well.
I'll take it one step back. The word diet is is not a reduction. Is not
Mm.
a process of elimination. Diet. The word diet just means what you're eating, right? So if you're eating chocolate, that's your diet. It's a shit diet, but it's a diet.
It's a diet.
But again, it goes back to that fueling and that petrol or that diesel or that cooking oil. Like, what are you putting in your engine? Like, your
Yeah.
body is a fine tuned machine. Again, I always compare it to F1 cars. Now,
Hmm.
a bolts can go up to millions for a single bolt on those cars, right? Or thousands, whatever it
Yeah.
is. Like real engineers spend months, years developing this car, this fine-tuned engine to make sure that it can go as fast as it can around the corners, keep your athletes safe, do everything. The fuel's just as important.
Yeah.
Like they have to have the best fuel to power those engines. So is cooking oil what I'm going to put in an F1 car? No. Your body is an F1 car. Treat it the way that you need it.
Very treated. Yeah. Agreed. Look at you, all wise.
Hey, the
Hey,
2 years.
hey.
No, and again, this all comes from being around real professionals. Like, I wouldn't know half of the stuff I know now if I hadn't started this podcast and like spoken to some of the best minds in the field. Like, I am very blessed, but I also record it and put it out there so that other people can have it and experience it.
Yeah. Which is
And
important
that's why like,
because
I
you're
was so interested about the educational and how
Mhm.
you're implementing that in Kenya because like in the UK, even some parts of Europe, like you get real information quick. the US especially. But like in other countries, like I know we spoke about Italy before, but like there's no real bodies in Italy. And
And
like
I don't even know a lot of them. Italy is a very yeah,
we'll just
it's a
figure it out.
yeah.
Yeah, and like that will give credit the Italian strength and conditioning society. Like they're doing really good work because they're not only educational theory, but they're educational practical. Like they're combining both in this really good way of teaching people strength and conditioning. And I'm accredited by them because of that. Like I believe in their mission. So like for me, it's like this is bringing real education and real theory to people.
That's I think that's also the thing that we're trying to do here as a clinic. We're trying to just change one person at a time to then be able to change the view,
Mm,
the entire society, Kenyan athletic society here. And the chances that that happen, maybe they're a bit low, but it's not giving up. Do what
mm.
you do. Don't take shortcuts, but just keep on doing what you do, and some changes will be made. They may be slow, they may not be as big as you'd like them to be. It's fine. Even just one small success story is what matters.
Has there been anyone that you thought was a really good domino that you've worked with and they're like slowly returning?
So far, honestly, there's this Paralympian which seems to be quite interested in nutrition, and he's done well. He went to the Paralympics this in 2024 in Paris, and he sees the benefits of nutrition. It's just a matter of that consistency now, making
Mm,
sure that he keeps on going, he keeps his training up, he keeps on, doing his duties now, because now he's an Olympic athlete. As an Olympic athlete, you have duties, and that's to not only change the mindset of athletes that are not yet Olympians, it's to also inspire kids, and it's to make sure that you stay a true athlete throughout, and that you don't take those shortcuts just to be better than everyone else
mm.
and not be a dirty athlete. That's what I call them. Taking steroids, none of that shit.
It's always
So
interesting.
yeah.
The the people that I often talk to, we all have the same view on dirty athletes. No, it's great. I like yeah.
Just don't take shortcuts. That's
Yeah.
again going back to risk and reward and how things take a long time.
Hmm. Funny story. I spoke to my sister a couple days ago,
Mm.
and she's asked me this. I'm pretty sure every year for the past 15 years, and it's like, is there a pill that I can take to make me lose weight? And I'm
Girl, you
just
gotta
like,
do both.
and I'm just like I've studied hard. No,
No,
just no.
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can tell your sister. What's your sister's name, if I may?
Uh, I'll tell you offline.
Okay. But you can tell your sister that I would love if she ever finds a pill, I would love to take it with her.
To that, I say, fuck yous both. You don't need to lose weight. First of all,
Listen, just you wait until kids come in, and then that's when you're like, fuck. I want to look what I look like when I was 20, even though I kept complaining when I was 20.
Fed, you don't have kids. You're
Not
fine.
yet, thankfully. Thankfully.
No, I really appreciate you for coming on today and spending some time with me.
Thanks for
Um,
listening.
I will put your website on, even though it's not live yet. But
Okay. My little baby.
if you also let us know where people can find you and sort of speak and reach out for advice and any nutritional work that you might want to do.
Absolutely. I'm very open to people just asking me things, tips and tricks. I've been doing a lot of research as well on like runners, triathletes, because Kenya. You want to say that I'm not going to look into runners when I'm in Kenya.
I mean, I
Anyway,
didn't want to be very stereotypical.
but let's be stereotypical. But you can definitely reach out to me on Instagram. Yes, I'm going to be that person. I don't have TikTok, so Instagram it is. This is my profile. Wow, man, you're so fast. Also, look at how there's a dolphin there, and I have a dolphin here. I'm the dolphin girl. And also, my website, when it goes live, I'll link it on my Instagram. Right now, it's a very weird name, which I can't even say without just breaking into tears of laughter.
um,
But Those are the two main things that you can reach me out on. For nutrition, for Pilates, I'm trying to record myself teach. Hectic. I hate it. I look at my videos and I'm like, eee. But I'll upload those on the website as well, so you can have the whole package there when everything is live.
Perfect. I also do want to say or ask, how hard is it to break into the runners community in Kenya as a nutritionist? Again, I didn't want to go very stereotypical, but
It's
you brought it up, so now I'm doing it.
let's just say that they're a whole category in itself. I mean, some people are more open, others not so much. But it's encouraging to see how people have now turned to Kenya for a lot more now for, for runners and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
there is like a whole they do camps, they have people come in. I on Instagram I see some of these influencers. I don't like that word. People on Instagram that have come to Kenya to do running camps and stuff. So it's nice to see it going. I hope they don't just do it for the sake of,
mm,
money, which is probable. But I still think about Kipchoge and how he is and his discipline, and that's kind of what I'm chasing after. I don't
yeah,
like to talk as much as I like to show what I can do. A
mm,
picture speaks 1,000 words. So I'd rather be humble. I'd rather, focus on my work and see results than say, yeah, 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 yeah. I have so many wins, and in reality, it's not that way. So
yeah.
stay humble, bro. Who said that? There was a rapper that said that. Stay humble.
Kendrick
But yeah,
Lamar.
there you go. You see, getting
Um,
somewhere with my knowledge.
are there like marathon runners and like longer distance runners? Are they starting to look at their nutritionists and really rely on them for
Here,
their needs?
here, I haven't come across a marathon runner just yet that has asked me for nutrition help. Um, and even if they train up north, so
Okay.
and because there aren't too many of us nutritionists, um, maybe the coach takes care of their nutrition as well. So having
Mm,
that ability to go up there, get some insight, give them some insight on, what we do. That could be a next step that we also think about. But again, it's a very difficult thing to organize because people don't see the benefits of it. And it's, again, investing some money into it. But it's definitely something that can be looked into.
yeah. Because like that would be the perfect platform to then
Yeah.
have like this sort of trickle down effect on everyone else. Because if they see
Yeah.
like Katroba or, I mean, Kenya's just known for their runners.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, I think that would be sick.
Yeah. It would be absolutely it would be a really good way to also just show them that, Kenya, we're a team. We're a big
Yeah.
team. And we're a team that, you should be scared of. So yeah,
I mean, in the running world, 100%.
exactly. Now I'm not saying in any other world, like swimming world, I don't even know where it is, but the runners, and I would say a bit of the rugby. The rugby has potential. It's just that when it comes to teams, things get a little bit harder. But
Yeah.
individuals, we're still okay.
No, yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much again, Fed.
Thanks, Manny. It was a
Peace.
pleasure.